So this just happened at Denver International Airport, and it's very, very scary. This is why sometimes it's very important not to travel alone if you don't have to, and just make sure people know exactly where you are when you're supposed to be there sometimes. Especially if you're a woman. We just did an episode of when a woman was shopping in Walmart and people were just looking at her and her kids in a very odd way. It didn't look right. But let's go ahead and jump into this lady's story and see what happened at the airport in Denver.
I'm going to tell you all a really crazy story about an experience I had at DIA, Denver International Airport. And this is just like a forewarning if you're someone who travels through DIA or any airport alone, listen up, be aware of your surroundings. It was one of the scariest things in my life. A lot of my friends and family know about this story, but figured it's time to share it on the internet. This was about 2 years ago. I was home visiting family for the weekend and I was traveling solo. So I had a red eye flight leaving out of Denver going to Tampa on a Sunday evening. I got dropped off at DIA around 11ish p.m. And all was fine. Airport was empty. And if you ever fly at night, like you know the airport at that time is desolate. There's
Right.
no one there. No stores are open. No restaurants are open. There might be like a Hudson News open where you can get a candy bar. Like that's it. There's no one there. There's no extra employees there. It's the bare minimum. Okay. And DIA is no exception to that. So I
You know, man, the people that move at airports at night are people that just aren't up to no good, and people that just trying to save money on a flight. You're looking for your layover. Something unfortunate happened, but a lot of predators are out there at night for sure. They really are.
go to what I think my gate is. It turns out my gate had changed and I didn't know. So I was sitting at an empty gate. I thought that was a little weird, but I still had like 2 hours before my flight. So I was like, oh, I'm probably just really early. I was sitting there. I had one AirPod in and I was sitting in the seats. I was at the gate sitting in the seats closest to the window because I was watching all the airplanes take off. I had one AirPod in. I was watching TikToks, listening to podcasts, whatever. Before you know it, a gentleman comes up and he stands directly in front of me and asks where I'm traveling to. Within 30 seconds, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, he pulls out a cigar and lights it in the airport. And suddenly I'm like, red flags everywhere go up around me.
Dude pulls out a cigar in the airport, lights it. No cig. I bet he knew he was good. Nobody's around. It's late night. No security. No TSA. No detail officer. He didn't even care if you saw him light the cigarette, like cigar. Excuse me. He just didn't care. Oh, this is one of those guys with no F's to give. This is the type of person you want to be weary of.
I'm like, who does that? Like, I've never seen anything like that. This guy, like, clearly didn't care about anything. And he begins to ask me, he goes, where are you traveling to? And again, my guard's up now. So I'm like, oh, I'm not giving this guy any information. And I'm starting to scan my surroundings, like, who's around me, what's around. And I tell him, oh, I'm just traveling home. He goes, where's home? I go, oh, a different state. He goes, what state? And I go, I don't feel comfortable sharing that information. I hope you understand. Like, I don't
Right.
tell strangers where I live. And he goes, what were you doing in Denver? And I go, visiting family. And he's like, okay, so where are you going? And I said, home. And now I'm getting really nervous. Now all of a sudden another person comes in, another man, and sits 2 seats away from me. Again, we are the only people at this gate. There's not a person as far as you can see. And the guy that comes over and sits next to us goes, my friend was asking you where you're traveling to. And I go, and I told him I'm not saying anything. Now I'm starting to get like choked up, like I can barely talk because I'm so
Right.
nervous. Within 30 seconds of that, I kind of blacked out during this period. A woman comes up behind me. So
Oh
I am now
God.
trapped.
What?
There's a person right here, and this woman like back here. So they're all around me. The guy's still smoking a cigar, mind you. No one's around for as long as you can see. I was flying Frontier, so if you're familiar with the Denver airport, Frontiers, it's like whole own thing. This was before Frontier's new terminal, but even before that, Frontier's so far at the end of the airport, like you're truly so far away from everything. So the girl comes up behind me. My friend asked you where you're traveling to.
Oh my God. Who is this guy? William Fisk? I just don't understand. Like that would really creep me out. Even if I was a male, surrounded by three adults, that's creepy. I can only imagine if this lady here is just, she looks a little bit on the small side, like, maybe soaking wet, 130 pounds. You get what I'm saying? Like, not even. And I can see how scared, like, the way you're telling this story, it's very scary.
Says it just like that. They're getting angry with me. And I said, I'm not saying anything. I start to pack my stuff up. They're like, why are you so nervous? Where are you going? What are you doing? Answer a question. The guy next to me, aren't you going to answer my friend? It's not nice to not answer him. I'm freaked out at this point. I'm like, something nefarious has happened. Like, this is very, very, very bad. I'm packing all my stuff up. I'm taking my headphones out. I have like 911 on speed dial at this point. Like, I have it typed in my phone. I'm texting my mom and dad. Something is going on at the airport. I'm trying to call my husband. It's 1 a.m. in Florida, now 2 a.m. in Florida, so he's not answering.
You know what stood out to me? She said she has 911 on like speed dial, right? You know, dude. And I hate to say this, it's the middle of the night. There's very little TSA. You might get one detail officer, somebody from the local sheriff's department or county or whatever you want to call it, and they're just there, and they're usually reserve officers. This is just them, and it's just one. You might get two. You might get two, but it's just one. All right. And you got to think by the time she calls 911, they make it through the arrival lane, the departure lane, those sort of things. Or what happens. A lot can happen. I just feel like like these bad people know they got a lot of time in between the 911 call. This is just what I'm saying.
I'm freaking out. I'm sending voice memos to my best friend of what's happening. And I'm just like, hey, around these people, I feel uncomfortable. I'm at DIA. This is what terminal I'm at. They could hear me saying all this. I didn't care. I'm like, if something happens to me, I want people to know exactly where I'm at. I get up and I start walking away, and the girl grabs my arm and she goes, I need you to come to the bathroom with me. And I said, I'm not going to do that. And she goes, please, I really need your help in the bathroom. We're women. We help each other. And I said, I don't feel comfortable doing that. She was insisting I go to the bathroom with her, has my arm grabbed. I said, get off of me. Don't touch me. They're all
She's grabbing you now. Oh, dude. Oh,
following me, wrapped around me. They're like, ma'am, why don't you just answer where you're going? It's not nice to ignore us. They're being so weird. I rip out of her arm and I sprint down the airport. I went to Frontier. I told them what happened. They kept me safe. They got an air marshal involved. It was this
wow.
whole thing. And they're like, you did the right thing. This seems like you were being targeted. They were able to look up cameras where these people had been following me since basically the second I entered the airport, which is terrifying. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if they had like, fake plane tickets. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I don't remember. I genuinely blacked out, but I know that like an air marshal ended up getting involved. It was this whole thing. It was terrifying. And the people at DA, they were like, of course, like we can't confirm what was going on, but you were being followed. And that's enough reason to suspect that something fishy was happening. So be aware of your surroundings. All that to say, especially if you're traveling alone, be safe. And I know that, like for myself personally, I've now made a rule: no traveling alone at nighttime. So yeah, just
Yeah, you just got to pay attention to your surroundings. That's like the first generic thing to say. But like, man, traveling late, you got to just take care of yourself. You got to let people know where you are, man. You did the right thing by calling someone, making sure you were on speaker. Thankfully, there was a U.S. Marshal there. Thankfully, there was people at the front desk, like the whole terminal service desk, that people were there. Sometimes it's just so many kiosks. You don't get any help, right? Or you just don't get any help. You might get that one person at the rental car, section where you go and kind of get your rental car very, very late. But I mean, sometimes it's not even that. But Denver is it's an international airport. They're supposed to be pretty busy, right? It's just one of those hubs where people fly in and out of. But I'm really happy to hear that you had a U.S. Marshal nearby that was able to help you out. But guys, yeah, look, you never know when people are watching. You just think at the most random times that you're good. And this is very, very scary. Is happening at the airports where you think that you're supposed to be safe. Like people are trying to abduct people, do weird stuff. We're gonna just say it's weird right now because we don't exactly know what happened. But it is very weird, and just glad that you were able to tell us safe and sound. And this, I know this happened and it was scary, but you learned your lesson. Thank you for sharing this with everybody else. But what do you guys think? All right, do y'all travel alone? What are some of the things or precautions that y'all do when y'all travel to make sure you travel safe? Leave your tips and comments below. We'll chat with you there, and don't forget to hit the like button, comment. If you have any hype, hit that hype button. You know what I'm saying? And sub. I'll see you on the next one.